According to Splunk Threat Research Team's report on the top 50 cybersecurity threats, RDP is a major target for attackers. Cisco Duo multi-factor authentication for Windows Logon and RDP significantly increase your protection against cyber attacks. My name is Hamza and I am IT consultant working at Ataya Norway. In today's video, I will teach you how to shift the balance of power and leverage Cisco Duo multi-factor authentication to protect yourself. If that sounds good, let's get started. I encourage you to start your 30-day free trial now and follow along with this lab. I already logged into my Duo admin portal. I will go to Applications, click on Protect an Application. I will search for RDP. Here I have the documentation page and the option to protect. I will select Protect. Integration key, secret key, and the API hostname details, I will use them when I'm adding my Duo application from my Intune admin center. To make it easy and simple, I will leave the default setting for the policy section here, and I will go ahead and click on Users. Here I have a different method to create user, but I am only interested in the directory sync. Be aware that the directory sync is not available when you are using the Duo free licensing tier. If we go to billing, here we can see the different licensing tier. If you are using external identity source, in my case I'm using Intra ID, at least I need to have the Duo Essentials that will enable me to sync my directory. Isn't that awesome? That the Duo Premier offer a free trial as well. You can try it and sync your external directory. So let's go back to users and click on the directory sync. I need to click on add a new sync, and I am using Intra ID, so I will select it. I will click on add a new connection, click on continue. I need to sign in using a credential that has the global administrator rule in my Intra ID so that I will be able to sync the users and the groups. And here I need to check the box for the consent on behalf of my organization and click on accept. It will take me back to the Intra ID connection. I have a list of my groups. I will select the Duo-test group that I created for the purpose of this lab. Synced attribute, I will leave the user principal name. And it is important to checkbox the normalize username before importing. And I will click on complete setup and I will sync now. The sync is complete. I synced one user and one group. If I click on user again, if I click on the user, I can send an enrollment email. And this is a message that's telling me enrollment email sent. So if I check my email, this is the email that I got from Duo Security, and I will click on the link provided here and get started, and I will choose Duo Mobile, which is the recommended option. I need to enter a phone number and click on continue. Yes, it's correct. This is a message telling me that I need to download the app. I already downloaded here, so I will click on next, and I will go ahead and open my Duo application from my phone. And I need to scan this code in my Duo Mobile. Open my application and click on the add button. Use QR code and I will scan the code. I will give the account a name and click on continue. The setup is complete, so I can close this window now. So this is a message telling me that this user has not enrolled yet. If I refresh the page, and I'm no longer seeing the message that the user has not been enrolled yet. And if I go back to my inbox here, I see the welcome email. Now I need to download the Duo Authentication for Windows Logon and RDP application. This is the documentation page for the application. I will go and click on download and I will download the application. It is an exe file, so I need to use the content prep tool to convert the installation file into .intunewin application and distribute it through my Intune admin center. So I will go ahead and open my prep tool. I will move the application to this folder, specify the source folder, copy the path and paste it here. And I need to specify the setup file. and the output folder will be this folder here. And this is my output folder. I will copy the path and paste it here, and I don't need to specify any catalog folder. Now I am on my Intune Admin Center. I will go to Apps, click on Windows. Here I can add my application. Select the type, will be Windows App. Click on Select, select the package file. Click on Open, OK. I will leave the default name and I will edit the description. Click on OK. Publisher will be Cisco Duo. App version is 4.3.1. Category will be Computer Management. Next. Because the original installation file was a .exe file, even after I used the content prep tool to convert it to .intunewin, the prep tool didn't detect the install and the uninstall command because it wasn't an MSI application. Luckily, I have the documentation for the install command and uninstall command, and I will include that in the description below. Remember that you need to include the integration key, secret key, and the API host name that are listed in the RDP details page. Now both the install command and uninstall command are listed here. I need to click on next. And the operating system architecture will be both 32-bit and 64, and I will choose the minimum available Windows. And I will click on next. The detection rule will be manual, and I will click on add. Because the application is not an MSI, I will select file, and I need to include the path, file folder, and detection method. This is the path that I need to enter here. File or folder needs to be this one. And the detection method will be file or folder exists. Okay. Click on next, click on next, next. I will leave the assignment empty for now and click on next and create. Because my endpoint is a managed device through Intune, RDP connection is disabled by default. I already created a policy that enables RDP connection, and the way to do that is going to the endpoint security, click on account protection, and here we can take a look at the policy that I created that enabled the RDP. If we click on the edit section here, we can see that the local group is remote desktop user, and the group and user action is add and update, and the user selection will be users and groups. And here I selected the user that will be allowed to access the PC through RDP. Never use public IP address to access your sensitive systems and data. Always use a VPN to establish a secure connection. Now if I open Microsoft Remote Desktop and try to connect to my PC through RDP, enter username and password and click on continue, continue. Now I logged into the PC without any multi-factor authentication. Someone would argue, isn't that enough that I am using a username and password from an external identity source? In our example, Microsoft Intra ID, meaning that the username and password must be part of my identity in order to gain initial access to my machine. While it is great that you are using a username and password from an external identity source, not relying completely on a local username and password, there are still risks involved. For instance, user could potentially submit corporate credential to untrusted site or phishing sites that attackers disguises as a legitimate sites. Although there are methods to protect against such a scenario, but this is not the focus of this video. Going back to a user submitting a corporate credential to untrusted site or phishing sites, now a breach can be set into motion. Attackers obtained a credential that provides access to your network. However, with Cisco Duo multi-factor authentication, this potential breach is stopped. Attackers cannot gain access to your network unless the Duo multi-factor authentication challenge is approved. And this is why you need to shield your RDP connection with Cisco Duo. Now I will go back to the Intune Admin Center and assign the application to the user that I used to RDP to this PC, so that the next time I'm trying to log in, I need to approve my login attempt from the Duo mobile app. Select Windows, select Duo Win Login, click on Properties, scroll down to the assignment, click click on edit. I will add group and I will choose duo-test. Click on select, review and save, and save. If I go back to my test machine and open the company portal and go to settings and sync, this is the notification telling me that downloading and installing software. The installation was successful. If I log out from my RDP session now, and try to connect again, entering my username and password, click on continue, continue. Even though I entered the correct username and password, I cannot gain access to the PC unless I approve the notification that I got on my mobile. So I will click on approve. And now I am logged in. Thank you for giving me your most valuable asset, your time. See you in the next one.